So we just pick up from where we had stopped, and we were looking at normal probability distribution. Normal probability distribution. Normal probability distribution. Okay, and in this normal probability distribution, when we met last, we had discussed question number 24. So we solved one question.
Yes.
So then we solve question number 25 that says that invoice at a particular depot has amounts which follow a normal distribution with a mean of 103.6 and a standard deviation of 8.73. Determine the percentage of invoices that will be over 120.05. So if you are told to get over 120.05, what you do, as we said last time, you begin by drawing a small table whereby from this side you tell us this is the mean, and the question says that the mean is the mean. Kevin, good morning and welcome. We are dealing with question number 24 of our handout. No, 25, question number 25. So the mean here is 103.6, and the standard deviation is 8.73. 8.73. So when they talk of 120 over, it could be somewhere here. So this is our x1, which is 120.05. So over is here. Over is there. So we now seek to get our x1 from our z1, which will be given as x1 minus x bar. You divide by standard deviation. And this becomes 120.05 minus 103.6. You divide by 8.73. So computer, tell me to 2 decimals. What is the answer? One 1.88. So if we have 1.88, then we see from the tables. Probability that x is greater than or equal to 120.05 will be equal to. So as we said, when we go to the tables, what we shall read will be from here 103 to 120. And because we want higher side, then we must say 0.5 minus. So go to the tables and read for me this 1.88. Zero point 4669. 0.4699. Good. So subtract.
Zero point 0.0301.
0.0301. So now that they wanted the percentage will be 0.0301. You multiply by 100. 3.01%. 3.01%. Okay, the next one, below 72.75. Below 72.75. So once again, we draw our table. Draw our table. So when we draw our table, our X bar here is 103.6. Standard deviation is 8.73 as the standard deviation. Then now that we want below, so our X1 here is 72.75. 72.75. So I want below, so I'm looking for these ones. So my Z1 will be X1 minus X bar. You divide by standard deviation. This is 72.75 minus 103.6. You divide by 8.73.
Negative 3.53.
53. Negative 3.53. Okay, so from the tables, probability that X is below 72.75, it will be 0.5 minus now what you read from the tables.
Zero point 498.
0.4988.
98. 0.1998.
998. Mm-hmm. 0.00. So in terms of the percentage, it is 0.0002 times 100. That gives us 0.02%. That gives us 0.02%. between 83 and if I want this one. Between 83.65. Between 83.65. 83.65 and 117.6. So my X bar here is 103.6. 83 here, X1, 83.65. And then X2 here is 117.6. So if you're looking for between, this is where you put it. That's why you put it. So Z1 will be X1 minus X bar. You divide by standard deviation. 83.65 minus 103.6. You divide by standard deviation here is 8.73. 8.73.
Negative 2.2.
Negative 2.29. Z2 will be X2 minus X bar. We divide by standard deviation. So this will be 117.6 minus 103.6. Divide by 8.73.
One point six.
1.60. So therefore, from the tables, probability that we are between 83.65 and 117.6. So what we shall do is, because they are in between, we shall add. So enda tu kwa table unisomee hii 2.29.
Uh, 0.4890.
0.4890 na hii ya 1.6.
0.445.
4452. Good.
Zero point nine three.
0.9342. And then multiply it by percent so that you get the answer. So from there now we proceed to the next one, which says what will be the invoice amount such that 25% are for greater amounts. So if we are told 25% of greater amounts, 45% of greater, not 25% of greater amounts. So we again start with our table this way. Then we say this is our mean here, X bar, which is 103.6. Standard deviation here is 8.73. Is 8.73. Then, when you're told 25% be greater, so the greater ones must be this one. So here, X1 is the one we do not know, but we know that the whole of this will be, the whole of this will be 25%. That is 0.25. And because we also know that from here, mwisho it is 0.5, it then means that this cascade here must also be 0.25. Now, what we are looking for is X1. We know that Z1 is given as X1 minus X bar. You divide by standard deviation. We know that. So if we are looking for X1, we can make it the subject. So if you make it the subject, this will come and multiply here. So that to actually delta Z1 equals X1 minus X bar. Then this X bar closes also it becomes plus. So this means that X1 will be X bar plus Z standard deviation. So from this formula, you want X. But if you don't want to make it the subject, you can just look for these values, you substitute. Now, we already know from this formula, we already know X bar. We also know the standard deviation. What we do not know is Z. But we know very well that this Z, we had computed it using this formula. Tukaenda kwa tables, and we read something. And that something is what we subtracted from 0.5 because we wanted the higher side, so that we were left with this. Now that something that we subtracted then must be this. Is that okay? Yeah. I'm saying what we did for us to know that this probability here is greater than 0.25, we computed the value of Z. When we got it, we went to the tables. What we got from the tables was the probability from here to here. So that probability we subtracted from 0.5. So that we got this. So what we subtracted from 0.5 is this. So from the tables, now we needed to specify this is Z1. This one, Z1. Z1 will be equal to. There is something else that you need to know or to remember. As long as your X is on the upper side of the mean, the values of Z will be positive. But as long as you're on the lower side, the values of Z will be negative. So what we are going to get, now that our X1 is on the higher side, it is going to be positive. So this will be positive. So what you do, you get now inside your tables. Where they will have 0.25. And when you're looking for it, you may get it exactly, or you may not get it exactly. If you get it exactly, well and good, the best. But if you do not get it exactly, you pick the value that you think is nearest, either slightly above or slightly below. So you get inside there, look for 0.25.
That isn't exact.
So which one do you think is the closest? Hmm?
0.68.
0.68. You are 25.18.
Yes.
It's
24.88.
or 24.86. Naona hiyo imebakisha 14 na ile imepitisha 19, eh?
Also, you take 0.88.
Yeah, so we can take point. Is it 6 or 7? No, it's 6. 6, 7. 0.67. Yeah. So we take 0.67. Good. So if you have taken 0.67, you have taken 0.67, x1 will now be equal to x bar 103.6 plus 0.67 multiplied by standard deviation, which is 8.73.
What, 9.45.
109.45. Yeah. So that is the invoice amount that will ensure that we are 25% greater. The next one is what amounts of invoices symmetrical about the mean will 95% of all the invoices be found or lie? Now, when you see the word symmetrical, it means divisible. And when you see the word about, it means around. So we want 95% around the mean. Want 95% being around the mean. (95%) symmetrical about the mean. So what we do is again you have your table. You have your table, and here this is the mean 103.6. This is the standard deviation 8.73. Now this x1 is unknown and this x2 is also unknown. But what we know is that the whole of this is 0.95. 0.95. And I've said something is called symmetrical if it's divisible into two equal parts. So in other words, what we are saying is that this segment here is 0.475 and this one is 0.475. 5. So that when you combine them, they give you 95. It is important to get that because we know that what we always get from the table is always between X bar and your X. X bar and your X. So having already seen how to make X1 the subject, we will come here and say X1 will be equal to X bar plus Z1 standard deviation. That's the formula we have established. That's the formula we have established. So from the tables, Z1, and I've told you when you are looking for Z1, you must know whether it's positive or negative. So you can see X1 is on the lower side. So what we shall get will be negative because you're on the lower side. So get inside the tables, you go looking for 0.475.
What brings 96?
1.96. 1.96. So if that is what you have, then it follows that X1 should be 103.6 plus negative 1.96 times 8.73.
$86.49.
86.49. 86.49. From there, we proceed and argue that X2 will be equal to X bar plus Z2 standard deviation. So from the tables, Z2, now Z2 will be positive. And because they are the same, it will still be 1.96. So X2 will then be 103.6 plus 1.96 times 8.73. 8.73.
$120.7.
120.71. 20.71. Okay. Let's close now to question number 26. That says the Western National Bank is reviewing its service charges and interest-paying policies on current accounts. The average daily balance on personal current accounts is 5,500 with a standard deviation of 150 shillings. In addition, the average daily balances are normally distributed. The bank is considering paying interest to customers carrying average daily balances in excess of a certain amount. If the bank does not want to pay interest to more than 5% of its customers, determine the daily balance should be willing to pay interest on. I want you to attempt that. It is exactly like what you have done. The only new thing is whether you can be able to interpret. I believe you have a bank account, so you understand that concept. Can't see. What did you get at the balance? They were asking determine the minimum balance.
I'm not very sure. That's my answer. It's a warning.
498.5. Let's see whether you agree with this way so that you confirm your duality. So you should have obviously done like this. This is the mean of 55 and 55, and the standard deviation is 150.
Yes.
Now, tunaambiwa they do not want to pay interest to more than 5% of its customers. So you pay interest to those with minimum or with more. Eh? If you are a banker, if the bank does not want to pay interest more than 5% of it, the sentence that was before that was saying the bank is considering paying interest to customers carrying average daily balances in excess. Yeah. So you pay those who have maintained more. Yeah. So if that is the case, this is the one that we do not know, but we are told here we do not want to pay more than 5%. So this is 0.05. And if that is 0.05, then from our argument that the whole of this is 0.5, then this should be 0.45. Sasa, we then say that our x1 should be x bar plus z1 standard deviation. So from the tables, Z1, when you go to the tables, you are getting what? Yes, right up for 0.45.
So there is more and there is less.
What
is less? We have from the tables less 0.495.
You pick whichever you think is closer to the one you're looking for. Any can do.
Let's pick 1.6.
1.6? 4. Okay. And it is positive, because we are on the higher side. 1.64. So therefore, x1 should be 5,500 plus 1.64 times 150. So that's 5.
Yes.
57. 26. 57, 46. Okay, so now on your own, you do those two other questions that remain, question 27 and question 28. Do that on your own. And then from the past papers, you do May 2014, question 2B, that is from the past papers. Let me get another one. Yeah, this one of December 2017. December 2017, question 2C. So you attempt those ones. To be good. So with that, we now switch to the next agenda, which is called decision making. This is a topic on its own, decision making. Now, decision making is highly connected with probabilities because it is about a choice of more than one possibilities. And when you have more than one possibilities, you have been talking of probabilities. Now, to make a decision means to make a choice of one option from a set of options. Like this morning, for you to come to this class, it is a choice you made. You could have chosen to remain in bed, or to come to town and go to office, or come to town and go to other errands. And all those were possibilities. But you quickly considered all of them and settled on coming to class. That is a decision. Now, when you're making a decision, there is what we call personal preference. Personal preference, that's one of the major determinants of decisions that we make. Personal preference. What do you prefer? And this is what we would call your opinion, the opinion that is attractive to you. Like this morning, when you look at the way we are dressed, we have different colors. And none of the colors is too bad, or is bad actually. Let me use that one, it's bad. All the colors are good, and it is personal. When I woke up, I went to where I keep my clothes, and I told myself, today being Monday, this is how I should dress. You did the same. And here we are dressed in different colors, but none of us is wrongly dressed. It is called personal preference. And I've already said this is called opinion, and everyone is entitled to their opinion. That's why when you want to criticize some people, they will tell you, this is my opinion. You are entitled to yours. And for sure, actually what we say, if you are exposed in decision-making matters, the best you can do in regard to the opinions of people is just take note. But don't go ahead and more so criticize. You can comment, you can compliment, but don't criticize, not unless you're invited, not unless nikuulize shati yangu unaiona aje leo being a Monday. You just take note that this is how I'm dressed. I also take note that is how you are dressed. Na hiyo maneno inaishia hapo. But now when you start telling me wewe leo ni Monday haungevaa hivyo, I'll be there to wondering what is your problem? What is your problem? So people, unfortunately, they want to criticize others, but anyone who wants to criticize others, for me, I say they are so myopic, they are narrow-minded, they want everyone to think like them. But this world, the way God created us, we cannot think like each other. Even those of us who share parents, we don't think the same way. Even those of us who are twins, we don't think the same way. Even when you get married or when you are married, you cannot be thinking the same way all through. And I'll be telling you as we go by and by, if you have a friend and you always appear to think the same way all through, one of you does not think in that relationship. And it's the high time they be dropped. You need a person, obviously, that you be agree. But you agree after you have disagreed for some time. Or once in a while, inafika mahali nasema, Monday mpaka Thursday tulikuwa tumekubaliana, but today on Friday, there will be a difference. This one, I'm seeing it from this direction. And then you talk and you agree. But if you are agreeing from Monday to Sunday, January to December, one of you is not thinking and is not important in that relationship. The other thing is what we call risk appetite. Now, risk is defined as the probability that what you actually get will be different from what you are expecting. And unfortunately in life, or fortunately in life, we first of all make choices before the consequences come. And making of some of these choices could be expensive. For example, you first of all decided to come to class. You came all the way, now you are here. It is only after you came that I'm now teaching. It is only after you came that you would have realized Mwalimu is not teaching. But ushaamuka, ushalipa fare yako, ushakuja. That's risk. It is only after you paid your money that you are allowed to get into our classes. You could not be allowed before the payment. Now, if the actual is not the same as expected, we have a problem. Now, there are three possible results. That the actual is equal to expected. You are expecting a good teacher, you are finding a good teacher. The second one is actual is greater than expected. You are expecting a bad teacher, but now you are getting a good teacher. If the actual is higher than the expected on the good side, then that one is okay. The other one is actual is less than expected. You are expecting a good teacher, now you are seeing a very bogus teacher. You're even wondering when the semester will end and where you are headed. Now, these two, this one does not generate any emotion. This one generates a positive emotion and is the one that is supposed to say compliment or thank you. But the nature of people, we rarely express this. They think it's our right. If I'm teaching you so well, and I know I am, chances are very high tutamalizana hapa semester iishe na hutawahi niambia I teach you well. But this one, it is a negative emotion and it is quickly expressed. If you think in your own judgment, I'm not giving you value for money, you will tell me, or utapitia pale kwa principal and tell the principal. Okay, thank you, Kelvin. I was saying that the one of the negative is quickly what? Expressed. It is the one that generates what we call complaints. Now we measure risk in two ways. There is what we call the standard deviation and what we call the coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation. So there is a question I had given you when you were computing the expected values, and that question was about computation of risk of standard deviation and coefficient of variation. So I hope you did or you will do. But for now, I want us to do another one, which now maybe will also help you to interpret the one that I have given you. So in the handout that I've given you, before we discuss, or maybe before we do the question, when it comes to risk, there are three types of decision makers. Number one, we have the risk neutral. These are guys who do not consider risk. They don't care about risk. They don't compute. They come from a point of ignorance, so to put it. And they make their choices based on averages. They make their choices based on averages. And these are the majority of us. Then we have the so-called risk takers. Now, risk takers are guys who compute risk, and then they go to where risk is higher. And they come from the school of thought that the higher the risk, the higher the return. So in most cases, they lose a big deal. But in some instances, they also win a big deal. And the win, in most cases, comes and covers all the losses that have been made. Then we have some fellows we call the risk averse. Now, these are guys who compute risk, and then they go to where risk is low. They play safe. Now, this one, they want to preserve the status quo. And eventually, they preserve, but they make very little progress. They make very little progress. Because for you to progress, you must take what? Risk. Life is about risk. Even right now, you are facing a risk. Coming to destiny na umelipa pesa yako. Who told you that lazima ufunzwe? What assurance you have? But you made your money. And you not have what? The assurance. You are waiting to do the exam. Who told you that you must pass? See, that is? Yes. Tumeamuka na tumekuja town. Who said we must go back? So life is about what? Risk. Life is about risk. And if you have to progress, you must stand and move, take that risk. Kama umekatalia kwa nyumba useme huko nje kunaweza kuwa na wakora, kunaweza kuwa na accident, kunaweza kuwa na baridi, you will still be in the house doing nothing. But you woke up and left the house, well aware of all those possibilities. Yeah. You paid your money here, well aware that you could come here and get a road deal, because we have seen many places where people pay and they're never given value for money. Yeah. But you must pay. You must pay and you must move on. So those are the three types of decision makers. So before we look at the steps that are followed in decision making, I would like us to turn our attention to question number 1 of the handout, which is on page number 4. Page number 4. And in this question, we are told that an investor has a choice of investing in either one of two shares, equity 1 or equity 2. The returns from both equities are uncertain. The average rate of return on investment in equity 1 is 12% per annum, with a standard deviation of 2%, while the average rate of return on investment in equity 2 is 9.5% per annum, with a standard deviation of 1.8%. The rates of return on both equities, that should be equities, not inequities. Both equities are assumed to be normally distributed. You are required, on the basis of minimizing risk, advise the investor which of the two equities would be better and clearly state your reasons. So, I want us to prepare analysis table. Analysis table. So we have the measure. The measure is also what we call criteria. The measure is also what we call criteria. Then we have equity 1. Then we have equity 2. Equity 2. Equity selected by a decision maker. Decision maker who is a risk neutral, risk taker, risk averse. So you want to see if you are risk taker, how do you make your choices? If you are risk averse, Okay, so let's start with the expected value. And remember, the expected value is normally written like this, which we also say is our X bar. X bar. Now, the first equity has a return of what? 12 cents. 12%. The second equity has a return of 9.5%. Now, a guy who is risk neutral makes his decision based on averages. And obviously he goes for the higher. So he's going to go for equity 1. Because it's higher. Don't know whether you have space to say it is higher. As a result. But a risk taker will not use that, and a risk averse will also not use that measure. They don't look at it. You know, when you're making decisions, we look at different things. Yeah. Like now, when you are coming to Destiny, there are several things maybe you looked at. You looked at the school fees, you looked at the teachers, you looked at maybe your friends, you looked at the location, you looked at the programs that are available in the morning, day, evening, so many things. But at the end of it all, there is that one very critical that you could not compromise on, that made you to settle on Destiny. So, and different persons look for different things. That's why we have people making different choices. In this town, it's not only Destiny teaching. We have other colleges teaching, which you are aware. Why didn't you go to them? Why did your colleagues go to them? It is because you were looking for a different factor from which they were looking. The next one is called standard deviation. Standard deviation. Now, standard deviation is a measure of risk, and the first one we are told it has 2%, 2.0%, and the next one has 1.8%. So I have said the guy who is risk neutral does not compute risk. So for him, this does not exist, not applicable. But a risk taker computes risk and goes for the higher. So it's going to choose 1 because it is higher. But a risk averse is going to choose 2. It's going to choose 2 because it is lower. This again tells you that people make different choices, and you should not be offended when people make different choices, even after you had advised them. Because at times you advise someone and they take a different route and you are there complaining. When we skiza, alikuskiza lakini there were other factors they considered. Hiyo ingine inaitwa coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation, CV. Now, CV is given as standard deviation, you divide by the mean. You multiply by 100. CV is given as standard deviation, divide by the mean times 100. So like now here, this will be 2, you divide by 12 times 100. You divide by 12 times 100. (16.67%). Huyu mwingine ni 1.8 divide by 9.5 times 100.
Eighteen point nine five.
18.95%. So again, now the guy who is risk neutral, he does not know those things. So for him, that does not apply. But a guy who is a risk taker, he will go for equity 2 because it is higher. He will go for equity 2 because it is higher. Risk averse will go for equity 1 because it is what? Oh. So conclusion down there below the table, I make a conclusion. On the basis of minimizing risk, the investors should take equity 1. The investors should take equity 1. Take equity 1 since it has a lower risk. Since it has a lower risk according to coefficient of variation. According to coefficient of variation. So you can see what we have done. We have made our decision based on what we are calling coefficient of variation. But remember, I've also been saying that standard deviation is a measure of risk. And here, the two measures are contradicting. They are contradicting as in, when this guy uses standard deviation, namuonyesha 2. But akitumia CV, namuonyesha 1. So as a decision maker, you now become confused. And at that point now, you need to know, where do I take instructions from? Who do I obey? And the answer is, we always obey this one, the coefficient of variation. In case they are giving different directions, there are times they will give the same direction. But in case they are giving different directions, we always take a direction from CV. And the reason is, CV is a relative measure, while standard deviation is an absolute measure. Absolute is a measure that only considers one factor. But relative compares more than one factor. If, for example, someone was to come to this class here now and give us an exam ya QA, na aseme yule atapata more marks, atapewa 10,000. Sasa mimi na wewe tukalie hiyo pesa. Who do you think would get the 10,000? Eh? Yes. If you get, then you should not be in my class. I should not be teaching you. Now, will you be very happy? No. Not that you may not want me to get 10,000, but how I have gotten it is not a fair ground. I'm a teacher, you are a student. Mimi nimekuwa nikiongea mambo ya QA for many years. Where maybe just 1 month ndio unaanza kusikia mambo ya QA. So it is not fair. So if I wanted the game, or first of all now, if it is absolute, if the measure is absolute, we will say the money has gotten 95%. And because this one is higher, so apewe pesa. But relative will say no. Hata kama ni amepata 95, yeye ni mwalimu. So on top of the 95, we bring another character. And that other character could even be more important than this one. It can come and dilute this. So this is the most practical, is the best. It is like what we see in life, and it gives so many people a lot of problems. Like you people, when you are very young, you come to the job market, and you find your colleagues in the office are already driving big cars. Now you want to drive a big car in the next 1 year. Do you think it's really possible? No, it's not. And it's not that you are poor. You are not poor. It's only that this colleague of yours maybe has worked for 10 years ahead of you. And if you are to go back to the first year they were working, maybe now you're even earning more than they were earning. So you must appreciate that ni kweli, this person is driving a big car, but they have been working for many years. Me, I've only worked for 1 year or for 3 years. So with time, we'll be able to catch up. So you must bring, even when you have worked for the same period, even when you are earning more than a particular person and the person appears to be doing well. Because, for example, you could be earning 100,000 and your colleague is earning 30,000, but they're able to drive a big car which you cannot afford. So don't be very bitter and keep on complaining and calling them thieves. But how can they drive I'm 3 times than them? Lazima akuwa naiba. Lazima akuwa kona mipango ya kando ama na all those kind of stories. It is not right. You need to appreciate. There could be other what? Factors. Maybe amebaiwa na bwanake ama bibi yake ama wazazi wake ama ni mwanabiashara. There are so many what? Factors that could explain. And when you appreciate those factors, or even the factors in your life that are explaining why you are earning 100 and you cannot drive. Maybe ulikuwa na madeni mingi ukisoma, hiyo madeni ndio unalipa. Ama maybe wewe ndiye first born, ama wewe ndiye umeona mwangaza kwenu wa kwanza. So you have so many people that are around you, unasukuma juu. So hata ukipewa hii 100, ile inabaki yako ya kutumia ni like 8,000. Hiyo ingine yote unasambaza. So all those, now when you look at life that way, it becomes less stressful and you become more, you become enjoyable and you become more productive. But if you are so absolute, unaangalia tu kitu moja, wanga na hasira mingi sana hii dunia. Because there will always be people who will be ahead of you. Alright, the next question they are saying, the probability that equity 2 pays a higher average return than the average rate of return paid by equity 1. So that one is a normal probability. So we are told equity 2 pays higher. So equity 2 is paying 9.5 with a standard deviation of 1.8. Tunataka ilipe more than equity 1. Na equity 1 tunajua ilikuwa inalipa 12. So you want this one to be anything above 12. Anything above 12. So quickly, our Z1 should be 12 minus 9.5. You divide by 1.8.
$1.39.
1.39. So from the tables, probability that X will be greater than or equal to 12%, actually greater than, it will be 0.5 minus. 0 point
4177.
4177. So uking'oa unapata 0 point
0.0823.
Good. So that's the chance that we are going to pay more than that. So let me remind you the question that I had given you so that you can try. May 2017, question 2. I think I have given you, hiyo swali iko na binomial, iko na Poisson, na iko na hii maneno ya expected value na maneno ya minimize. So it's a comprehensive question, but it's something that we have done. Now, from there, let's proceed with the discussion. I still have like 10 minutes. As you can see in the handout, we have the steps that are followed in making decisions. And step number 1 is called identification of the objective and development of a general formula. Objective is to know what is it that you want to achieve. It is the goal. It is the problem that you want to solve. Number 2, you must identify the alternative courses of action. Now that you wanted to pass CPA or you wanted to be taught, what were the options? So you identified the options. And options, we call them alternatives because they are within control. Like you're coming to Destiny, that was purely within your control. You had the choice to come or not to come. You are not coerced. Then the identification of outcomes. Outcomes, we also call them consequences. We also call them the states of nature. And why we call them states of nature is because they are beyond control. Once you have made your choice, then you must start there to either enjoy the consequences or endure the consequences. So when you hear people tell you that when someone tries to avoid it, you are told you made your bed, sleep on it. You made your bed, sleep on it. Or you are told to take responsibility of your actions. Don't try to run away. And you cannot run away. Consequences, you can't run away from them. Lazima ukae hapo mpaka ziishe. You either enjoy or you endure. That's why in life, it is very, very important to consult, especially when you're making a very serious long-term decision, such as marriage, such as investment. You need to consult because once you have made it, you may not exit. I keep on telling students, ukishaoa ama ukishaolewa, that is forever. They tell me, tunaweza achana. Ni kweli mtaachana, but it is forever. Even when you get married to someone else, we always say this is wife number 3 or husband number 2. It's permanent. It's not like issues of girlfriends, boyfriends. Those ones we don't count. Tunasema huyu ni boyfriend number 3 is number 3. But that one is permanent. And something else is like an investment. Maybe you have accumulated your money for like 10 years. You want now to invest in a serious project. You need to really consult. Because once you have invested there, to go back, it will be very, very difficult. But unfortunately nowadays, some people do not want to consult. They want to give us surprises. They will be surprised actually. They surprise themselves. Don't give people surprises. You're not the first one to do it. Kama ni gari unanunua, you're not the first one to kununua gari. People have bought cars. If it's a plot, people have bought plots. Kama ni kuoa, kuolewa, watu wameoa na wameoana. Consult. I'm not saying you go telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry of your intentions, but the issue is identify someone that you think could be genuine. And I'm saying that you think, because it's not a must that how you think they are. But it is good to get advice. The other thing is you identify types of decisions. We have 2 types of decisions. We have the CGOs and the multiples. Maybe that will become clearer as we handle the questions. Then when you're dealing with the multiples, there are those conventions, those symbols. Please take time and look at them, because when we start drawing, I find many students ask me, what is this? But I think there is one that has that is wrong. You see the second last, the one for option. Inafanana na kama hiyo outcome. The one for option should be like this, should be dotted. Should not be a complete triangle. Maybe you can insert there. Should be dotted. The one for option. The second last. Actually, even the selected option should also be like that, dotted, but now with 2 strokes. Dotted, but with 2 strokes. So after that, you make a specific formula that we will be using to compute. Then you compute the payoff, those are the profits. Then you select the option that you have decided. Then you implement, you monitor, and evaluate. Yeah, like you decided to come to Destiny, you implemented, you came paid, then you started attending classes. Now, as you attend classes, you should monitor and you should be evaluating. Am I on track? Am I getting the right thing? Those kind of things. Now, decision-making environment, we make decisions when we are in different environments. And when in different environments, we make different decisions. Yeah. You see, like right now that I'm in class and you are my student, there is a way I'm behaving. If you are to get me in an open place where I'm not your teacher and you're not my student, maybe my behavior will be different. Yeah. Because when I'm a teacher, there is a way I'm behaving. When I am a man out there, there is a way you find me behaving. So people behave in different ways depending on the environment. Depending on the environment. And it's not that it is anything bad. Because someone can misquote me and say, so no, it has to do with the environment. You see, like now here, you are so composed and so peaceful because the environment appears safe. If danger was to appear from wherever, would you be seated the same way you are seated? No, you behave differently. The decision you make is different. Yeah, like right now you are making a decision of remaining in class, continuing to listen to me. But if there was to be any danger, the decision would change. Yeah. So the environment determines the decisions that we make. So we have 4 environments. One is the environment of competition. This is where we are competing. The other one is the environment of certainty, where we are sure of how things will be. The other one is the environment of uncertainty. We are not very sure of how things will turn out to be. Then we have the environment of risk. We have probabilities. So all these are rules. We shall be computing them. We shall be using those formulas. And finally, we have value of information. Value of information refers to the maximum amount of money you'll be willing to pay to someone so that they give you the information that you require. Information does not come our way for free. Like now, this information that you are getting from me is not coming your way for free. Something else, like if you, right now, your head is about passing the exam. If I were to tell you, you give me some money, and I will ensure you pass the exam, I have some inside information. Would you be willing? You know that may appear like it is not ethical, but we normally give people money. We normally give people so that they give us, they give the money so that they give us what? Information. Though in terms of ethics, it may not be right. But what I'm saying is, if you want someone to do something for you, would you be willing to give them something? Now, the question is, how much is that something? Right now, you have come so that I teach you, you pass the exam, and you have paid 20,000. Is this the maximum you would be willing to pay for you to pass the exam? Is there an amount we can charge you? Now, the maximum that you'll be willing to pay, that is now what we call value of information. So we will call it a day at that point. Then tomorrow, God willing, we shall handle some of those questions as we now illustrate what we have discussed there.